Welcome to the Sales Buzz. I'm Rick Ammey, your host for this exciting Brooks Group webinar. Thanks for tuning in. Today's topic is the 7 insider secrets of building a top-performing sales team. I'm here with Bill Brooks, CEO of the Brooks Group. Bill has been a sales consultant for more than 28 years. He heads the Brooks Group, an international sales and sales management consulting firm based in Greensboro, North Carolina. He's authored 18 books, including 3 national bestsellers, and we're going to get started because I know everybody wants to know, because their survival depends upon it, how to have a top-performing sales team. So let's start with some definitions right off the bat. What is a peak performer?
Okay, a peak performer is an individual or a set of individuals that exceed expectations. They do it consistently, they do it regularly, they sell at high margin, and they sell at high quantity. The other thing is they don't require a tremendous amount of hand-holding. They're able to figure things out, go and do it themselves. You're not constantly being dragged into every sale. I mean, I'll tell you, for example, if you're forced to get involved in closing sales, you are not building a top-performing sales team. People want to carry the ball across the goal line themselves, and frankly, if they're not able to do it, maybe they ought to do something else. So the name of the game is top performers, and I've said this quite often, are people who almost look at whatever they do as they themselves are the business or they own the business. And so consequently, it's long hours, it's total commitment, no prisoners, total focus. That's a real top performer. Now, the interesting thing about it is you're always going to have the 20% of the top, you're going to have 60% in the middle and 20% at the bottom. What you want to do as a sales manager is raise the bar so that even the people at the bottom are at least fairly strong performers. What you don't want to have is have only 20% of the top performers and then 80% of everybody else. So when you raise the bar, you've got a performing organization all the way around the clock, all the way across the board that works. And that's what a top-performing team does and top-performing people do.
So I imagine by definition that a peak performer is, as you said, the top 20% probably. So why so few? Is it just because that life follows a bell curve and that you're going to have most people in the middle and at the very top you're only going to have a few? Is it basically that?
That's the best way I've ever heard it, Rick. Life follows that. I mean, if you take a look at most anything, this has been around forever, and pardon me if folks have heard this before, but it's the old Pareto Principle, that 80% of the results come from 20% of the people, that 80% of the problems come from 20% of the people, that 20% of the people have 80% of the wealth, that 80% of the problems on a manufacturing line come from 20% of that manufacturing line. It doesn't make any difference what it is. So what I urge sales managers to do is to say, okay, what if you only had the top 20%ers in your team? Where would your results go? They'd be fantastic.
Right.
In our particular case, we're at 170% of goal for the year in terms of where we work to be at the end of the year. We're 170% of the end of the year. We've got some time left. And the truth of the matter is, it's because we've got a high-performing sales team. And here's what else we do. We expect them to sell and service accounts. We have a very strong lead generation methodology. We have a tremendous referral program. We have internet presence. We have mail-outs to prospects and clients. We do everything we can because the name of the game is prospecting and selling. And I'm going to tell you, salespeople can't prospect, sell, and service accounts. It's too much work. You got to figure, what do you want to do and where do you want the effort to go? And I can't tell you that ours is right. I can tell you it depends on your industry and what you sell and to whom you sell it. But what I'm going to tell you is you got to constantly raise the bar.
So that the median performance of everybody who is there goes up.
Goes up.
Right.
And now across the board, now everything's better.
Now we've talked about this in another one of the webinars, and I'm sure people are going to see that one because the whole topic is this issue. But it would be good to bring it up again here as we're talking about peak performers. But peak performers also have to be tough. And so for this particular webinar, let's define once again what it takes to be tough.
Tough. Tough means resilient, physical stamina, handling rejection, being a self-starter, being goal-directed, result-oriented, being driven by something, so that you are physically and mentally tough. Now, the example I gave was when I spoke to a college football team. I said, let me tell you the biggest advantage you have of playing on this college football team. You're learning to be physically tough. And you know what? If you can be physically tough, you have to be mentally tough. If you can combine physical toughness with mental toughness, you're a champion. Physical toughness, you know what physical toughness means, Rick? That you get home at 10 o'clock at night because you've had to go to dinner with a client or a prospect or a basketball game, and you're ready to go to a sales call at 8 o'clock the next morning because you have to be there and you've had very little sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to bounce back. The truth of the matter is most people either can't or won't do that. So we're going to talk about how to have a sales team that does that. And that's important. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But what I'm going to tell you is you can't make chicken salad out of the wrong part of a chicken. I mean, the bottom line to it is you're not going to make chicken salad out of the claw, right? It's not going to happen. You're not going to make somebody physically tough who's not physically tough. I'm looking for somebody that's got stamina, stick-to-itiveness, drive, and you know the best predictor of that? Have they done it in the past?
Now, we said at the beginning of this particular program, what we were going to do is give 7 insider secrets of building a top-performing sales team every day. And number 1 on your list is hire only the best, which obviously seems to me is if you're going to look for people who are tough and you're going to look for people who are peak performers, that's the place to do it.
Listen, you cannot have a superstar team with average players. It doesn't work like that. It's never going to happen. One of the things that people need to learn is the concept of hiring with caution and firing with dispatch. What happens is we tend to hire with dispatch and fire with caution. We have it reversed. The most important element an organization has, if they're a sales-driven company, is the sales effort. It's also the most expensive. A very large percent of the revenues of our company are assisting clients in hiring the right people. And I'm going to tell you, lots of people don't know how to interview. They don't know how to look through a resume. They don't know how to assess somebody the way they should. And here's the interesting thing. Lots of times, if people were as good when they got in their job at selling as they came across in the interview, we'd all be a whole lot better off. Okay? Now, I have a bias. I like to find people who sometime in their career have had some experience in having to be physically tough. Let me give you 4, 5, 6 examples. Were they in the military and had to go through basic training? Were they promoted? Did they play athletics in something like wrestling? Did they do it in football or ice hockey? I'm looking for some guy or some woman, you know, that they basketball, anything. I say it tongue-in-cheek. I want the guy whose nose is over here. You know, I want somebody who has proven that they've got physical stamina and toughness. Because when I'm going to manage that person, I'm going to manage him or her with very tough love.